Hi, my name is Kino Carson. I'm sitting with my administrator, we work together. I'm the founder and CEO of Urban Heat Academy. I'm sitting here with Ms. Moore, who's also a part of Urban Heat Academy, and we are starting up the first ever Stockton Community STEP team, Urban Heat Academy, and what is now Next Level. And we have a resource center here in Stockton, California, where the kids practice. And Ms. Moore, I'm gonna let her tell you a little bit more about what it is that we are doing here in the 209.
My name is Keisha Moore, and I am a native from Stockton, California. I am the owner of Cali Braids. I also host hair shows as well, but I host hair shows in the Bay Area. I also educate the youth on how to braid, braiding classes. And I teamed up with Urban Heat Academy to, do something different in the community because our children needs it, something new. So we started a community STEP team, what she just said, Urban Heat Academy and Next Level.
So what we decided to do was we decided to create something different. The Urban Heat Academy Resource Center, located here in Stockton, California, is one of the first and only of its kind. What it is a support for distance learning. What I found out looking at the data is that many of our students are struggling looking at that screen every single day, and they need some additional support. So I decided to create a program, and together we put our heads together and created a program that will allow for us to support those young people while their parents are possibly working, out to work, have to commute, essential workers. And so what we did was we designed a program that allows for children to come in, plug their computers up, and we get to support them to ensure that academic progress is taking place. Urban Heat Academy originated in the Bay Area, Oakland, California, where I noticed that there was a disconnect after returning from college, that there was some cultural pieces missing. You don't really find things like drum lines, stepping, even majorettes. There was things that are going on these college campuses that many urban schools, especially and particularly here on the West Coast, we kind of lacked. So I wanted to bring that awareness to those students. So we started doing college tours. We started in 2005. We started with college tours, and I started opening up stepping. So I had young kids. We started introducing the art of stepping to them. And what started off as 10 kids ended up being 20 kids the following year, then 30 kids the following year. And what we noticed was the data was showing that kids were actually enrolling into the schools to be a part of the STEP program and to be able to visit other colleges. So from there, we were able to, Urban Heat Academy wanted to be we're like a combination between a boys and girls school, a private institute, and a community rec center. You put all of that in one and you get Urban Heat Academy, and that's what we are. We are very strong and very determined to make sure that students are academically successful. And we also want to make sure we bring that book to real life. We want to take you to the Grand Canyon. We want to take you to the East Coast. We want to let you sit on the beaches of San Diego. We want you to know and see other people like you who come from the same area, have similar backgrounds, and yet they was able to be successful. And that's what Urban Heat does. We have toy drives for the community, and we do things for the community as well. But our core focus is to ensure HEAT stands for health, education, awareness, and teamwork. You put all that together, and hopefully you can, 9 times out of 10, you're gonna create a well-rounded, responsible young man or young lady. So that's what we are about. We actually linked up with Cali Braids to have a braiding class at the school facility, something outside of the norm that doesn't normally happen all the time. And so how many students decided to be a part of it?
I had like 25 students.
25, 30, and then after the next year, it was like 35, 40 kids, all wanting to be a part of something different, yes. All trying. So that's what Urban Heat Academy is really about right now. We have a STEP team of about 30 students. We just opened it up, and I am tired. But we're stepping, we're planning to take them to STEP shows in Texas, take them to STEP shows in Los Angeles, Las Vegas, and then even further like North Carolina, so they can see the culture. Kids gotta see it. Once they see it for themselves, then it changes their perspective, and that's what you want. But one of the things that's really important, and I know for a fact we've had several conversations regarding this, is how do we link with the community to get the support that we need? When you know you have something and you hear the parents say, look, you know, we've been hearing that all the time. This is really, really good. How can we get behind this? How can we support this? And we're available at any particular time, anytime you want on social media, even stopping by the area. But we definitely need, in order to do what we need to do, we have to get out of thinking that somebody else is going to support it and start taking a little bit more of ownership ourselves and saying, here's what I can do. Here's what I know. Here's the connections that I have, and building and using those connections and those hookups to be able to support students. So it doesn't always have to be money monotone, which we would love to have that, but it's also, if you're a doctor, why don't you come tell your story and let us bring some students to your practice? Yeah. Why don't you allow us to, those are things that we can do. If you own a theater, can we go to the theater and see and watch and sit? So the community, those of you who are in the Stockton and you're sitting there, you're watching this, you're saying, hey, how can I contribute? Whatever it is that you know, connections that you have, look, all is welcome. Cali Braids brings her talents to the center, to Urban Heat. And since then, we've been able to use that to be able to do other things.
So Mr. Carson is like the coolest guy, gentleman in general. But when you play with his time or don't take him serious or you goofing off, he can be real strict. When it comes to school, he don't give you no slack. He's serious, he takes it serious. You about to write standards, you about to do whatever it is. When it comes to whatever situation, he feel fit for your disciplinary, for your actions. He make you run laps when you late. If you play with his time, practice start at 5:30. He wants you at least here by 5:15, 5 o'clock. You late, however many minutes you late is however many laps you gotta run. He's strict, but fun and safe to be around.
Well, what I do is I'm actually probably the marketer, the social media person, and I get out there and I talk to people. I call up people who I think that will support. But I intertwine with him, as he stated before, that with the braiding class, he brought me in to teach the braiding class, and ever since then I was like, you know what, I like what he's doing. Let me just help him in any way I can, like the support, because for me personally, I think we need more of African Americans to help. Don't just say, hey, that's good what you're doing with the kids. Get in there and, see what you can do. So that's what I do with him. I see what I can do.
But I think she's being more modest than anything, because we wouldn't be sitting here in Stockton had it not been for Cali Braids. So she decided, she's like, look for places that we can have to have our resource center. She reached out to kids. She was like, there's a need in Stockton for stepping. We don't have those type of things. And so when you look at companies, organizations, and the thing about it is we've been surviving off of straight love donations. Like people have been saying, hey, I love what you're doing. One lady, she said, I'm gonna provide you, every time I get paid, I am going to, for the next 3 months, give you $250 that will allow for a child to be able to experience the things, to keep the lights and stuff on, so that we can do. But I think she's being modest in terms of like, without her saying, hey, we really need, can you please come to the 209? Can you please come to Stockton? Look, you got something, I will help work with you. So the behind the closed door stuff, well, she does a lot of that work, and kudos to her and the Cali Braids Association for we merging together and working together. And I think that's what the biggest, greatest challenge is. Yeah. Working together, putting your egos aside, being humble, and being able to say, working together, because she always been like, whatever you need, I got it. And if we can work like that, there's just no telling. So those of you who are out there who are saying like, how can I help? How can I help? Look, anything that you have, donations that you have, if you can't send a donation, don't worry about it. Can you send somebody to maybe come, possibly want to do some type type of production set? There's things that our children are not getting with distance learning and aren't getting into school. I've been a principal for 22 years. High school for 5, middle school for 7, and elementary school for, I don't know, God knows, it starts running together. But as a school principal, all of the extracurricular activities was really from one entity. It was the YMCA, Boys and Girls Club, or some outside agency. And the activities wasn't really conducive to what our children was actually interested. There was no braiding classes. You know, there is no stepping. There's no art teacher, maybe a few, but not that many. So by bringing these things together, who's gonna help our children cook in the future? I know they're gonna have automated technology is going to help some of that, but at least knowing that skill, we're not doing that. We're waiting till culinary arts, those type of things.
And that's actually what you provide in the center. You provide the extracurricular activity. You go out, you provide the science projects, you provide the cooking, even if it's in a crock pot. You provide, teaching them how to cook in a crock pot.
Right.
How to cut up onion, how to cut up bell peppers. You're providing that in your center.
You'll be amazed at the little things that grandma taught us. So basically, some of the little things that grandma taught us that's not being passed down, that should be passed down. How do you cut something safely? How do you hand the scissors to someone? These are things that people just don't really know anymore. And then even more importantly, how our young ladies so bringing someone in, so ladies, this is what the expectation is, or letting people know how hard it's going to be.
Etiquette class. Right,
so and letting people know what the struggles as a young African-American lady you're gonna be challenged with as you go through life. Pulling our men aside saying, hey fellas, this is what being a man is about. There are some rules in there that we kind of got away from, and I think we might need to pull back in order to keep the family structure tight. So we can use any and all support. We definitely, I think the pastor said, we love the ones that we appreciate the ones that jingle, but we love the ones that fold. So I just want to put it out there. So if you're thinking about donating, we got tax write-off, but right now everything is coming out of pocket. It's because of my connections, your connections, people that we know, that we're even sitting right here right now, that somebody's looking and saying, hey, I like what you guys are doing. And you got to see it for yourself, because you got to see it for yourself. When they walk in the building, they're like, oh my goodness, all the HBCU flags are in there. We got every college that's a Black college. We talking about both the general history and then some of the underlying behind the scenes things. The braiding class is coming up. We got the STEP program. We got the toy. We're in the community. We got the toy drive, which means that we're giving back too. So it's not like we're just getting and just saying, hey, look at us. No, we have a toy drive / STEP show coming up. Dude, we are like we're busy and broke. I don't know how to I don't know how to say it. So we definitely, but when it's from the heart, and you know that it's gonna help.
Hi, my name is Candace Kendakis Peralt, and I have a small business called Kendakis Consulting, and I work with different organizations in Stockton, and this is where I found out about Urban Heat Academy. I was very excited when I found out what they were doing in the community, making sure that we're changing lives one step at a time. And I found it incredible for my child to participate in this activity, because during times like this where it's COVID and everybody's social distancing, our children don't really have access to group activities. So when I learned that they were using all of the protocols to make sure that everybody was safe, but also allowing students to learn rhythm, timing, discipline, and organizational skills, teamwork. As an educator in the community for over 20 years, I know how critical that is. And especially right now with this demographic and this youth, not being reached enough. I think it's essential for our community to have access to opportunities like this. So I'm very excited for my child to participate in Urban Heat Academy, and I think it would be phenomenal for other people to look into what Urban Heat Academy is doing in the community.
It takes a village, so why not step in?
Right.
I have 3 children, but I'm out there with other people's children too. And that's taking time from my children, but I don't look at it that way. I look at it as I'm part of the village.
Which is it's like when you go down the neighborhood and people complain about somebody else should clean it up, but you just walk by it.
Yeah.
You know, so what if we started cleaning up our own stuff? What if we started cutting the grass and having little Johnny come through? Now he's learning how to do things. And that's what Urban Heat's trying to do. It's trying to get us to come together and say, look, we are powerful. I'm living proof that the Urban Heat Academy Resource Center is standing because people believe in it and they've come together. So yeah, so we can't complain. So we want to be, as much as the community, as much as the community comes to us, what you're doing is giving it to us. We're just putting it in the oven, baking it, and then we're serving it to the community. That's basically what we do. And your donations or personal donations allow a kid. Right now, we have 4 or 5 students who are members of the Resource Center. And when I tell you academically, I can see how the system has let them down. Across the board, Black and brown children are scoring far below than even our Asian and our white counterparts. And something's going on. Now we can keep going to the same system, or we can try to do something different. How many more thousands of years do you want to still do the same system? So that's what we're trying to figure out.
So being on the STEP team, it impacted and it helped my kids on everyday life and everyday circumstances. Mr. Carson basically has a big impact now on my kids, how he did on me when I was in 7th and 8th grade. Now I have a 11-year-old and a 5-year-old, and he's impacting them how he impacted me. So I'm glad that they're getting to meet him earlier in age than I did.
So do you think this distance learning is better for some?
Well, kids learn in a variety of different ways. Some learn through auditory, like they can watch something. Some needs to be just taught direct instruction, and then others need that hands-on. However, we got another element in there. When you're not interested in something, it's very hard to keep attention span. Keep it 100. There's been times we've been in church, we didn't wake up until he started hooting and hollering. Once he started hooting and hollering, then we was like, oh, we knew the deacon stood up, everybody, hey. So our attention span is different. We just are a different culture. We're a little louder. People take offense to the loudness. I'm loud right now just because I'm excited. It's a natural thing that people tend to take it in a certain way. You can't have everybody assimilate to one way. People are different. Therefore, education is different. So to answer the question is that I believe the majority of our people, especially people coming from low socioeconomic community, we're more like antsy. But if we're doing that, we're ADHD now, or we're something. So no, you're just excited. You can learn quickly. You can grab on things. You might be bored. Because we had professors that I don't know what they were saying.
Too monotone.
I woke up when he said dismissed. I mean every Tuesdays and Thursdays on those extra long classes. So I'm just saying that's what I feel like we bring in, because we have the same mindset. We were able to work together from 2 different entities. So whatever it is that you do, whether, I don't care if you're working at Walmart, gas station, we're sending out our donation letters. What do we need to do to make sure we have what we need to have to at least put ourselves in an opportunity to get that grant, to get that giveaway, to get those discounts. Every little thing. Somebody drove up and donated some kids, congratulations, you get a meal for free. Well, if you're a kid and you're struggling and your mom has 4 or 5 kids, man, that gift certificate is like, hey,
Yeah.
it's the bomb. Every little bit counts. And so that's the message that we want to tell the Stockton community. Stockton is in need of this type of program. The demographics are changing. The Bay Area's moved in. Sorry, 209. We came. We're here. We got kicked out of our place. No, so we are here. And so it has to change. So the old style of the way they was doing things, they don't like that change. But it's got to be a move. It has to be a move. And so it's a slow, but it's inevitable. It changes like the cell phone.
And then, you know how you always say, if I know something and I've been through it and I was taught, why do I need to keep it in? Why not share it with others to help others?
Exactly.
You know? So I think that's
this ideology of me, mines. No, y'all need to do it
alone.
Yeah.
Yeah, we need a team.
And that's what other cultures, I think, have that we are lacking, the trust. And then when we are doing it, am I going to give you the same work ethic that I'm going to give my boss?
Right.
And if I don't, why not? So those of you who donate to the Urban Heat Academy, please note, if you ever follow us on Urban Heat Academy on Facebook, you ever follow us online, you'll see me giving the same effort that I gave as a principal for Lodi Unified, Twin Rivers, OUSD, the same attitude that I had when I was getting that check with them commas. I do the same thing for the check with no commas.
Yeah.
Because if we're going to do something, that's what we're trying to instill in our kids. You either give it your all or don't do it at all. Yeah. So that's what we are about. And so far we've been literally, there's no other word for it but blessed. We've been blessed just to even sit here. We still trying to figure out how we going to get uniforms and sticks. And we trying to cut the cost for that. The kids whose parents are coming and believe in what we're doing.
Right, because not all teams in the 209 is given a discount as much as we gave the children a discount. Like if you have 2 or more, is a fraction of the cost of what we should be paying. Right. For each for what they should be paying for each kid. Not like if we go to football, we have to pay for. If I have 2 kids, I paid $600 for a cheer, and then the boys was like $250. So that was like a money, and we had to pay that. We got probably a $25 discount.
I definitely think corporations and any large investment funders, even small donations, should take a real good look at Urban Heat Academy, because they are providing something in a community that has not been provided, especially in Stockton, California. I think that we have been under-recognized with what the gaps are that are happening in Stockton, California, especially with our youth. So investors want to give to kind of close that gap. And this is a great place where they can give to something that's going to close that gap, because they are incorporating, like, academics and timing and group camaraderie, team sportsmanship, where people can see how much the youth is flourishing from the benefits of Urban Heat Academy.
Let me tell people, while we have an opportunity, about the Urban Heat Academy Resource Center. We researched how much it costs for those parent pods. They're paying $1,200 to $1,300 for a parent pod with no credential administrator. This is someone hey mom, they're paying $1,200 to $1,300 each. You come to the Urban Heat Academy Resource Center, you get to drop your child off at 7:30 a.m. You don't have to pick them up till 5 p.m. The monthly cost is only $400. That is
actually, you went down.
I did. It was 6, but I was trying to help people. So not only that, but we're serving you breakfast, and I ain't talking about kibbles and bits. We serving you breakfast. Then you come back you get a lunch after you do your distance learning. We're walking around making sure you have access to online and all the resources.